So I've got with me Justin Hoover from The Battle Within. He's the executive director of an organization that helps veterans and first responders that are dealing with PTSD. Justin recently drew a comparison between being in battle to the world that we're in with COVID right now as professionals in business. I wanted to have Justin share that with you. Justin, do me a favor and expand on that, on what you brought up to me recently.
Sure, Ken, no problem. So, yeah, I was in Iraq in 2004, 2005. I was an infantryman there, so this was the time right before the surge. I was stationed in Tel Afar, and it was a very volatile place. And that's really kind of where this comparison came from, because when we made that deployment and we began to go outside the wire, we were taking fire most every day. An IED would implode against a vehicle of ours, our company, almost every day. And really, that was kind of like the beginning of COVID, where everyone really pulled together. Everyone was really checking in on each other, making sure that everything was kosher. Everyone was handling the pressure, and it was just very heavy. And so it was this big uniting thing that really brought our unit very close together. And that's the same thing as COVID was. We were celebrating all our heroes, whether they be grocery workers or nurses, doctors, first responders. We were singing from the balconies. Everyone was checking in, calling a lot, both for your own mental health and your friends and family. But same thing on the combat field as during COVID, really, where as the slog continues and really drives on, the normalcy kicks in. That rush that you get when somebody shoots at your vehicle kind of lessens, just because it becomes the norm and you have to survive it. And so really the fear input kind of becomes normalized. And then we start returning to the stores, returning to the office. Some kids are going back to school. And so you're kind of in this weird place mentally where there is still danger and you're aware of it, but also you're just kind of normalizing it. And that's a dangerous time right about at 6 months, because that complacency, you aren't checking in on people like you were in the beginning.
Yeah.
You've kind of identified who mentally is strong and in your world based off those previous experiences, and you kind of let them ride, because you got to focus on yourself and you got to focus on those that you've identified that are vulnerable. And the problem is that in instances like this, the bottom can drop out very quickly, and we don't know it. And so if we're not checking in, suddenly when we're at somebody's funeral, or they have an attempt or kind of a mental breakdown, it's a shock to everyone, because it was such a surprise. We didn't see it coming, but we
Yep.
didn't see it coming because we willfully weren't looking that direction.
Yeah, the analogy is perfect because we're about 6 months into COVID right now, right? And so this is the time, like you said, from battle, when things start to lull. There were upsides to this. We've all seen positives that have come from it, and even those have started to dull a little bit. The idea that you can take your dog for a walk at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day was, a really great thing to be able to do. And now it's like, do I really need to do that right now? I've got work to do. And so some of that newness of that change that we all saw is starting to wear off too. And so people aren't as excited about, this whole new world and what it looks like. People are, I think, trying to get back to work. And especially, like you said, the parents thing with the littles that are in school and doing school virtually and all of that is just adds a whole nother layer of mental health challenge to this. I heard somebody earlier say, the good news is I get to be home with my kids all day. The bad news is I get to be home with my kids all day, and so especially when you're trying to help them with education and getting through their learning and all of that, that's just a lot to come down on everyone's shoulders at once.
Yeah, that's why I'm having this interview outside, because we have school going on inside, and so this is the quiet place. So thank goodness it was a nice day today.
Right.
I think that's really the thing that everyone can do, and everyone can check in on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And we as a society are very good at asking, are you good? And combat, I was involved in 22 IEDs against my vehicle, and every time the dust would kick up so you can't see, your eardrums are blown out so you can't hear, so you're just reaching, putting hands on each other and yelling out, are you good? Are you good? And that question wasn't like, hey, how are you mentally doing? Or it
Right.
was, hey, when this ramp goes down, are you gonna hop out? But nobody at the end of the day asks, are you okay? We almost died today, or somebody
Hmm.
was killed today, or whatever that is. How are you handling that? And
Yeah.
that's because as a society, we have to be good. We same thing in the office. Everyone has those stresses, um, especially with kids going back to school right now.
Mm.
Everyone has more anxiety. They have more work on their plates. They're trying to do it from home. They're trying to do it while they're being teachers. But you also don't want to let your team down.
Right.
And so that's the one thing that everyone can do. And mental health, really, we're all on the front lines of it. And so reach out to those people that you have identified. Hey, this guy's always got it, or she's always rock steady. She's
Yep.
the person I can always count on. And for leaders of organizations and HR, people aren't coming up to you and saying we're all good. When we supported the police officers at the protest and we talked to HR and they're like, yeah, everyone seems to be okay. And it's like, yeah, I can tell you that they're not. They
Yeah.
just don't
Right.
come to you because you have to create that authentic, genuine place where you are constantly coming and asking hard questions and really digging in and making people feel like you care about their lives, that they can bring those things to you and it's not going to negatively impact them. Otherwise, you're going to be really surprised when all of a sudden those people break or they're
Right.
leaving your organization because they can't hang anymore. And that's not a fault of their own. That's just because we don't ask the question until it's too late most of the time.
Yeah. Such great lessons that we can apply to the world that you lived and that those veterans are living and have lived, and how it translates to the world of business. Tell me a little bit about what the Battle Within does and how you help folks like that.
Sure. So the Battle Within is created by veterans and first responders, and it's really designed to create a space where everyone can come together and understand those experiences. And to be clear, this isn't something that's only something veterans and first responders would benefit from, and that's because trauma is just trauma. We have to get out of this mindset of thin slicing everyone into, well, I have combat trauma, I have breast cancer, I have, you know, sexual abuse as a child, because really all that's doing is limiting the people that can help you, and those experiences aren't the defining part. And so that's really what this program is about, is helping bring these diverse professions together where they have that belief instilled that only my small subset of those officers, those firefighters, those military members like me can understand what I've been through. So the
Hmm.
Battle Within really offers that opportunity where you can understand those experiences that's happened in the totality of your life. Develop some integrative skills such as mindfulness, uh, fitness, nutrition, yoga, that really set the stage for healing, and then provide you with a community of support that can help you on that journey, because nobody's leaving here healed in 5 days. We're very clear about that. It's just not possible. But it does put you on that path towards healing and really puts you in the driver's seat. It makes you the hero of your own journey, that
Right.
you can take responsibility for your own healing.
That's awesome. I think you have an event coming up soon. Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh, we have the best event coming up. So this is our fourth year of Wiffle at the Hollow. It's here in Kansas City. It's at Loose Park. It's right across the street from Loose Park and Warnell, and a guy's front yard. And I say that, but we turn it into Kauffman Stadium. And this year we've had to revamp it a little bit because of COVID. So it's going to be October 16th and 17th. It's Rex Hudler's Uncle Hud's Mash Plastic Fall Classic, and
Well
it's
done.
going to be, yeah, it's going to be uh, 12 games, so 24 teams. You come, you have batting practice, you have a home run derby, we have wiffle pinball, which you're trying to hit the ball between cutouts of these different signs, sports celebrity cutouts, to get different points. So it's COVID responsible. It's a way to have some great fun here in Kansas City. Get outside, and all the proceeds support the Battle Within. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic time. It's the event I look forward to every year, and in no way because we do
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. Well, hopefully the weather will be just like it is today where you're sitting.
I hope so. It's gorgeous.
Well, great. Well, thanks for taking some time. Like I said, I wanted to expose so many other people to this analogy that you drew that I thought was really helpful for us as we try and figure out what the future looks like. So thanks for taking a few minutes. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us, Ken. We appreciate it.
You bet.